Sure, how has it changed now that O'Connor's not there, and it's probably more of a running attack offensively?
I think they look pretty balanced. They line up with two backs in the backfield. They run I formation. They run their counter real well. They run, defensively they're in a 3-4. So, I think it's a lot of same schemes. They have a little different look in terms of a big, tall quarterback on the field, and good receivers, a good tailback, and it's a well-coached team. So we have to get ready for the same things we prepared for in the past.
How much do you guys know about the Noah Gray, their new quarterback? How do you kind of go about preparing for a guy that you haven't seen much of before outside of on film?
Well, I mean, we look at we look at the tape. Obviously we know what they're good at. You try to take away the things that they do a good job at. Their base plays that situationally they like to run. Defensively, obviously, for them, I think it's always matchups with us that we want to try to create. So we got to try to take advantage of those, and but it's the same thing. Getting mentally prepared to play a physical, wire-to-wire game. It's really what it's all about. Not so much the X's and O's.
For you guys, how have you kind of seen Shane adjust from going to mainly being a running back last year to kind of being the hybrid, do-it-all kind of guy who's also going to play quarterback? How do you think that kind of changes his preparation, and have you kind of seen him adjust to that?
I think he's adapted very well. I mean, when we put different personnel groups in with Tim at quarterback and Shane a running back, or Shane at quarterback and Mac Bryan at tailback, it gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of what we do. Shane is, whether he's a tailback or quarterback, he's still got the same leadership role out there. But, obviously in terms of preparing to play against that, it's two different looks. And, you gotta worry about Shane being in a lot of different places on the field when he's not under center or in the shotgun. So it's, I think it's really just kind of an extension of what our offense is all about. It's getting guys in space and helping them make plays.
How does this defensive group compare to the group you had last year?
Well, I think, first of all, this is the first year we've had a lot of guys come back that played a lot last year. We've had played with a lot of young guys the last couple of years. We're primarily a 4-3 team this year, which means we have, 4 defensive backs that are real critical parts of the run game as well as covering people. But they've stepped up really well, and we've got 4 guys that emerged out of camp as being real strong, and they work very well together. So that's been encouraging for us. And I think, coupled with the fact that we've got a senior linebacker in the middle, Sam Norton, that's like a coach on the field, and, guys up front that are quick and physical, it's a nice combination of talent to have.
In terms of production and what he brings to the table, especially defensively, where do you think Devon stacks up in terms of kind of the best athletes that have come out of Central Mass maybe in the last few years?
Well, he's got to be in the top, the top group of those guys. You look at the football players that have gone on to play at, the Division I level, and, Yalwyn Smallwood and, Richard Rogers, and these are guys in our program. I think Neil O'Connor, those guys are, they're dominant players at a lot of positions, and, Devon's no exception. I mean, he's a dominant player on both sides of the ball, and that's typically what you see with the guys that go on to the next level at that level, is they're dominant players for 2 years on both sides of the ball.
After making Gillette last year, coming up short, what are the goals for the team this year, and are those things that you even discuss, I guess?
Yeah, we set goals. Number 1 is to win our first game.
Yeah.
Number 2 is to have a winning season. Number 3 is to win a Central Mass championship.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is to win a sectional championship. And our ultimate goal is to walk out of Gillette, with a gold trophy.
You could call it a strong dislike sometimes, but how would you go about describing the mutual respect that you guys have for Leominster? Because you see each other in the playoffs every year, and you guys have kind of been the 2 premier programs in Central Mass.
I don't think it's a dislike at all.
Yeah.
I think it's respect. I think I think Coach Palazzi's a tremendous coach. I think they've got great fan support. I think it's the finest place to play high school football in Massachusetts. And we played them twice the last couple of years, and they've been exciting games. So I think, to me, that's what high school football is all about, is a rivalry like we have with Leominster. And it's, these kids compete against each other. They're friends, a lot of them. We have some guys from Leominster. And that, to me, is what competition football is all about.
Yeah.